Halo as a franchise began 18 years ago in 2001 with the release of Halo Combat Evolved, which was a fantastic adaptation of the FPS genre on consoles, and was praised by critics and fans alike. Since then, we've only gotten 13 Halo games, only 5 of which break off from the main series of first-person shooters, depending on if you count ODST or not as a spin-off, and for the sake of simplicity in this video, we're just going to count it as part of the main series since it is still an FPS and almost sort of functioned like an add-on to Halo 3, as originally it did ship with Halo 3 multiplayer. With that said, I believe that the Halo franchise as a whole not only should release more spin-offs, it would also greatly benefit the franchise, as it would be a way to try different things and possibly bring in new fans to the franchise. These 5 games that I mentioned are the RTS games Halo Wars 1 and 2, the fantastic twin-stick shooters Halo Spartan Assault and Halo Spartan Strike, and then the arcade game Halo Fireteam Raven. These in themselves have been a pretty mixed bag, starting with the first Halo Wars, which released back in 2009. At the time Halo was released, I was unbelievably pumped to see not only a Halo RTS, but a Halo RTS on console, and by Ensemble Studios, the makers of Age of Empires nonetheless. For me, I thought the adaptation to console was pretty well done, but any avid fan of RTS games back in the day could clearly see it was watered down in an attempt to play well on console, and this sort of led to it only getting generally positive reviews. Next came Halo Spartan Assault in 2013, and no, I did not forget Halo Wars 2. That didn't come out until 8 years after the first title in 2017. Spartan Assault is a game with Halo in the title, and that's probably the best thing it has going for it. The game was developed by 343 with the help of Vanguard Games, who have made some fantastic games you may have heard of, like Gatling Gears and Base Busters. So what is Spartan Assault? Well, it's a twin-stick shooter that was developed for the Windows Phone and Windows 8, and then later ported to Steam, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and iOS. And you can really tell it originated as a mobile game, due to the super short levels. Now don't get me wrong, this game isn't terrible. It's just so forgettable, and I can't even count the amount of people that forget or don't even know that it exists in the first place. As a pure mobile game, it's fine, but being dual released on PCs and then later consoles just makes it so disappointing, and even at that, it's a pretty average mobile game at best. Next on the list was the follow-up to Spartan Assault, and that is Spartan Strike. And I'll be honest, I never got around to playing this one, and most likely never will. It seemed to get pretty similar reception to the first, and for the most part appears to be the same type of game. Next we have another game I have not played, and that is Halo Wars 2, which was released in 2017 like I mentioned earlier. But this time it was developed by 343 and Creative Assembly, who have worked on a lot of the Total War franchise, instead of Ensemble. The game received generally favorable reviews from critics, with the console version getting a tad bit better of reception than the PC version. But from everyone I have talked to about the game, it seems very fun if you enjoyed the first, and is a game I need to get around to playing. The last spin-off that released was the arcade game Halo Fireteam Raven in 2018, and there's not much I can say about this one other than the commercial I saw for it looked pretty cool. And, as an avid gamer, leaving the house is scary, so who knows when I'll play this one in the future. Now that I've mentioned all the spin-offs that have actually released, you can see there's tons of room in the Halo universe for more cool spin-offs, and I think that is something the franchise could really benefit from. Over time, there definitely have been some projects that have been cancelled that would have been cool to see, like the Halo MMO, although if I'm being realistic, this probably would have been dwarfed by WoW and died, or more intriguing to me, the Halo Mega Bloks game. But sadly, neither of these ever saw the light of day, along with many other projects. Currently one of Microsoft's other major IPs seems to be getting the cool spin-offs, and that's Gears. Sure, Gears Pop isn't the greatest game ever created, but as a Clash Royale style game is fairly competent, and I would have loved to see this be Halo themed instead of Gears themed, as I have a lot more attachment to the characters and franchise of Halo than Gears. Another Gears spin-off that I think would have worked really well in the Halo universe is the upcoming Gears Tactics game. Now, we've not seen a ton about this game, but from what I can gather, it's an XCOM-esque turn-based strategy game, set in the Gears universe, and I cannot think of anything I would want to see more out of the Halo franchise besides the main FPS games. Think how fun it would be to set up your squad of Spartans to take on different missions against the Covenant or whoever, depending on the era that the game is set in. I know I've personally modded in Spartans into XCOM countless times, but that just didn't quite scratch the itch for me. And these are just 2 of the ideas that are already currently being developed. There are literally endless possibilities for where they could take Halo spin-offs, and it's something that I think the franchise is lacking in. They do seem to be putting more effort into Halo crossovers these days, with the Sea of Thieves crossover semi-recently, and the recent announcement of the Gears 5 crossover, so I am pretty excited about that. But like I said, I would love to see them try out more wacky ideas with the Halo IP. I mean, there is a blatant ripoff of the Halo IP called Spartan Runner that you can currently play on mobile, which is basically just an endless runner using Halo assets. And although the game is not officially licensed, it is still an alright time to mess around in. On a side note, I don't really know how this game exists because they charge for in-app purchases using all of Halo's assets, but hey, I guess whatever you gotta do. I imagine had this been an official Halo game, it would have been much more fleshed out though than it is. Now don't get me wrong, I don't want to see Halo just slapped onto a ton of shitty mobile games and shoved in our faces full of microtransactions. I'm looking at you, Diablo. But well-made spin-offs I think could do great to introduce new fans to the franchise while also giving us existing fans different games to spend some time in. So anyways, those are just some of my quick thoughts on the topic. If you have any ideas for Halo spin-offs, I would love to read them in the comments. If you enjoyed this video at all, feel free to do the YouTube things, like subscribe to the channel, like the video, or whatever else you want to do. I also stream on Twitch semi-regularly, so that link along with my Twitter and Discord, where you can ask me questions I will most likely ignore, can be found in the description. And I will see you guys next time.
I was so confused.
He's up there. I don't know what to call that. You might be able to just hold it if you have a kit. Dude! Oh my god, Swish. That was crazy.